Oh, so it's been a long time since I've had anything to say, and I'm going to give it a try again. Just talk a little bit about um, just a few observations about how well, personally, how I'm looking at doing my artwork here at the age of 68. Um, and so it's been always been kind of in my mind, kind of hit or miss. I've put effort in, but then I've gotten discouraged and moved away from it, found something else. And I know that's part of my personality, which is when I run up against problems, I tend to distract myself and and I'm saying this because maybe someone, who wants to listen to this there are a few people out there, I'm sure, who would have the same sorts of um, ways of, kind of dealing with pursuing their artwork, and really just about anything else that's important to them. It wouldn't have to be artwork. It might be a project, a house project. It might be something where it's possible to avoid, or it's desired to spend as much time avoiding what it is that you need to do, than or say that you want to do, than actually doing it. And one of the things I'm kind of thinking about is, I'm never going to be a world-beating artist, obviously. I mean, it's not obvious, but I mean, it's pretty clear to me, but that doesn't necessarily, but if I try getting rid of art, if I try not doing it, there's nothing else. It's like, I've gone through stretches where I haven't done really, I've tried to fill my days with other things. And there are only so many projects that you can do around the house, or because I'm, more or less retired at this point. There's people, there's, relationships, there's trying to help people out when possible, shovel snow for neighbors, whatever it might be. But I always wind up returning to the thing that I really wish I could do to a level that would satisfy me, but haven't been able to do so far, which is painting, which is oil painting, and particularly portraits. You know what? I'm starting to realize it's not really the point of doing artwork is to make yourself happy or to be fulfilled, feel fulfilled or anything like that. It's kind of beyond that even. It's just something, if you don't have other things in your life, well, in my own instance, I'm only speaking for myself, I really don't have any, there's very little that I can point to that gives a person an ultimate sense of purpose in their life, and especially if you're not religious or any of that. I mean, I was raised Catholic, but that's long vanished, except for a kind of a real love for the ritual and the architecture and the art that came out of Catholicism and Christianity. So, I mean, so for me, what I'm starting to realize is I'm doing these paintings now in my basement. I have a little basement studio, and I get to paint almost every single day for a couple of hours. And I'm thinking the only thing I can think of that is, for me, that is really worth painting are my thoughts as much as possible, or my memories in particular, or maybe things that are a bit imaginative, or maybe things that are, combine imagination with memory, with my memories in particular. So that's kind of what I've been pursuing, and I'm trying to make it so that really it doesn't matter if anyone ever sees it. My wife looks at them, it's wonderful. She'll see them and she'll have comments and stuff. But as far as painting them for anyone else, or with any kind of idea that, oh, these will be really liked or appreciated, or I don't even know that I need that anymore. I think what I would rather do is just have myself in a mental space where it's complete freedom. I can come down here and I can do whatever I want. If I don't feel like painting, but I start painting, and I'm painting in a kind of a haphazard, not committed way, well, then I'll paint that way. I'm just going to paint that way. And then if, sometimes and when I say what I just said, I really mean it. Like there are times when I really don't want to mix a color, don't want to mix any colors. So now what I'm doing is just picking up whatever. I pick up anything, start putting it down, and then just see what I think of it. And gradually, it seems like at a certain point, I kind of start to forget about all the inertia of getting started. And that seems to slip away. And for a little while, I really hate this expression flow. I hear it. It sounds like the latest trend. I'm sure that the word's been around for a long time, but at least just forgetting yourself for a little while. That's kind of what I'm not really aiming for, but which I notice every now and then. And that's nice. That makes me feel good. And I think actually what is often referred to as flow is a really productive state to be in. And I've always wondered, why is it that I can't be in that state more often? I know other people. I have a wonderful painter friend, Bill, who's 76 years old now. He's been painting since he was a kid practically, and he has no trouble, spending hours and hours on something and losing track of time. And that's definitely got to be the gold standard. But something occurred to me the other night, and that is that because I must have been an ADHD type of kid, or at least a person who was under a lot of self-induced stress, which a lot of people have. But I mean, when I grew up, I always like feeling the shoe was about to drop. And that's really been prevailing atmosphere around me for most of my life, almost all the time, actually. I'm becoming more aware of it as a separate entity, as something that's sort of sitting on my shoulder, not so much a part of me, not so much me. But even so, I think it has prevented me, and so continues to prevent me, to really commit to things, to really, really spend maybe the hours and hours. I have to do things in short bursts. I have to come down and paint for an hour and a half, and then I'm kind of tired, and I want to do other things. I want to look around, and if I'm anxious, or if I get disappointed about what I'm looking at in the way of my results, then I tend to want to distract. And then the whole thing starts up again, the inertia and the stress, kind of the not wanting to commit. So it's not hell on earth or anything like that. It's just, and I know even the painters that I consider to be productive, they will often admit, well, 20% of their time is trying to overcome that. And 80% might be really productive. But, it's not an easy thing. I think painting is really, but it can be a place where you can have freedom, I think. And for me, what that means is, as I mentioned, for me, that means just really, this will never see the light of day. These will be they'll be thrown in the garbage when I die, or they'll get cleaned out with the house and thrown in a dumpster, and that, but the point, that's not the point. That's not really why I want to be doing this, so that I can occupy myself and explore certain areas and follow my nose and not feel like I have to be pleasing someone else with the output. Just doing it, whatever it turns out to be. I think that's kind of manifested itself a little bit in my continuing search for materials that I feel comfortable with. And I've been experimenting with house paints, painting portraits with house paints, like a satin finish type of, and I bought myself some little pints, those little sample containers that you can get inexpensively, and try it out. And then I found a paper, like a building paper, that I liked. It had kind of a texture to it. So I bought that rather than paint on canvas or panels or anything like that. So yeah, I just wanted to give it a try. It was fast and cheap to give it a try. And I like it. I kind of like the results. I don't know if anyone else would. And I want to kind of not care, because if I start thinking about that stuff, then I'm down the rabbit hole of like perseverating and, ruminating too much and not actually painting.